All right, so essentially this is the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. It's actually a technical room where all sorts of things will be happening from tomorrow. We have reports and updates coming in less than 24 hours. There's going to be a big of activity out here, and the Situation Room has partners across 30 states of the Federation. There will be feeding reports and updates which will be analyzed right here. And of course, we also expect that the Situation Room will be looking out for a number of things. They've also said that primarily what is important for them is free, fair, and credible elections. And they will also be looking out for safety and security across polling units for voters, observers, party agents, and even INEC ad hoc staff. Also, they'll be looking out for occurrences of vote buying and ballot snatching, which is a menace that has hampered elections in previous times. So also, we will be talking to people right here tomorrow because we expect that calls will be happening from time to time. We have members, steering committee, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, Mr. Nwankwo, who will be standing by to talk to us in a few minutes. We also have convener, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, Mr. Nwankwo, who will be giving us more updates because we understand that Ward Coalition Observation will be happening here. So they'll be telling us more about this. I have Mr. Nwankwo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell us exactly how preparations are going and how tomorrow is going to pan out.
On the part of civil society, we're ready and set for the elections. We have to watch on the part of INEC what the situation is. We have observers on the field who are monitoring the distribution of materials. Quite worrying. Some aspects of the observations coming in on that. And confirm have arrived. As I speak, there's worry about that, but we'll watch to see what INEC does. There might be challenges that I think needs to be overcome. But on the part of reports on the field, and those reports of materials arriving at the polling units. We expect that at this time we should have materials at the polling units, but we'll watch and see and hope that INEC does what needs to be done. I guess it's a huge logistics challenge around managing the number of candidates for the elections and managing the logistics of the huge numbers, unprecedented numbers of materials that are being distributed at this time. But we are watching. We have observers across the nation, in every state, in every ward, looking at this election, and we will report what we see. If we do have concerns that have been raised, as have been raised by our observers at this preliminary stage, we would raise them.
Are you satisfied with what you're saying? I mean, you observed 2015 elections. What is the major difference between then and now?
I think the major difference is the number of candidates in this election is unprecedented. This country shouldn't have this number of candidates on the ballot. There should be a criteria for candidates to get on the ballot. Otherwise, you would have serious and unserious persons getting on the ballot, clogging the ballot paper, and costing a lot of resources to conduct elections. And I think that's part of the challenge that this election would face, the number of candidates who have just put their names on the ballot without any serious intention of running for elections.
I mean, the Situation Room listed as some expectations, which I actually talked about earlier. Are you seeing this happening tomorrow? Given the anxiety right now?
Well, I think that Nigerians are anxious to go out and vote. They want to see that they can vote. We do hope that the votes will take place as indicated, and if they do take place, we are asking Nigerians to come out and exercise their franchise, make a choice freely who they want to elect into office. But certainly Nigerians want to use their PVCs and make a statement about whether or not those who have represented them have done so appropriately, or whether they need new choices that needs to be made. So really it's a choice that has to be made by Nigerians, and what we are saying is that the environment should prevail to enable Nigerians to make those decisions.
The guys on ground, we just heard 66 here dead in Kaduna, and then we know you have hot points where you want to concentrate on. What are your expectations? What is the feeling going on?
Well, there are two things here. We want to be sure that people are able to go out and vote, but we also want to be sure that circumstances are not being orchestrated to suppress votes across the country. Of course, if there is violence, it would mean that there's increased security presence and vigilance, and that could actually suppress votes and discourage people from voting. So some of these incidents we have to watch to be sure that they're not being orchestrated to justify a suppression of votes in certain parts of the country. We also want to be sure that the deployment of additional commissioners of police across some states, we are studying those deployments to be sure again that you do not over-police the environment for elections in a way that discourages people from going out to vote. And again, if there is over-policing, whether there is a strategic decision being made as to which areas are over-policed or over-manned by security and the consequences of this. And we all know that as soon as you put in too many security people in a particular location, it discourages turnout. So the plea we have with all of those involved in this election is to please allow for Nigerians to go out, cast their votes, express their will freely. Orchestrate circumstances that circumscribes the ability of Nigerians or willingness of Nigerians to go out and vote is a major challenge and should not be allowed to occur.
You'll be observing, I mean, you have ward collation observation in over 8,000 wards. Just tell us briefly, how are you going to go about this?
Well, the ward collation process is a process that hasn't well, and a lot of times when people go out in the morning, they cast their votes, they go back home, nobody follows up with the collation at the ward level. So what we are trying to do, and beyond those several other observers, is to go to the wards, see what is going on in the wards, take the results from the wards and have this as evidence for the elections. The idea is that you can capture what has happened with the elections at the ward level if you properly observe the collation process. And my sense is that everybody who is running for elections, the candidates, the parties, and every stakeholder understands an important need. My sense is the integrity of the vote. Everyone who is participating in this election would understand is needed and useful for the elections in order to build its credibility.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Clement Nwankwo. That's the convener, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. About 119,000 polling units will be closely observed by the Situation Room, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, and other situation rooms across. So we'll be right here giving you updates. Back to you guys.